going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports MLB Swing for the Fences show. I'm your host, Mangone. I'm here with Hoop. I'm here with Big T. I'm pumped to be here with you guys, talking some Big Brother pre-show. We're talking tons of awesome stuff here. We're going to get into the baseball. Don't you worry. But Hoop, you told us we got to get into Titletown's awful take to start off the show. That was your call. So, tell me how you're doing and talk about this take.
Yeah, things are going well. The day was fine until I saw, Title full. We joke around on the show all the time, just full, stroking himself about this Milwaukee Bucks, playoff run. And I get it. He's a young kid, first time experience, a local team making a run. We joked yesterday on the show. They ran as pure as you can possibly run. They're probably I'd say probably the eighth best team in the NBA. Made the joke yesterday, and I actually kind of stand by that. And then I pull up Twitter, this morning, I see Title said, what was, I don't know the exact quote. I'm going to kind of phrase it here, but something along the lines that no athlete has done more for a city or changed a city more than Giannis has for Milwaukee. And I had a bunch of thoughts going through my head, a lot of things. I was like, you know what? I don't want to hurt this kid's feelings. I know he's going to get pounded by a bunch of people. And, credit to you, man, you stepped up and got the job done and put the kid back in his place because he needs it every once in a while.
My only issue I had, so I actually wanted to hear his reasoning because I was curious, but then he claimed that they were going to relocate and Giannis helped that happen. But then I remembered a tweet from 5 days ago saying Milwaukee's a basketball city. And I was like, you can't be both. You can't be about to relocate and be a basketball city. New York is a basketball city, right? New York is sold out every single time. I love hating on the Knicks, but those fans show out, right? That's a basketball city. Tony, as a LeBron guy, you definitely are probably not enjoying this take, I'm sure.
It's just embarrassing to even put that LeBron in the same conversation as Giannis in Milwaukee. There's nothing that even needs to be said. It's just a bad take.
And I'm not obviously the biggest LeBron hater, by far. I absolutely hate LeBron in all forms, everything about him I can't stand. But what he did for Cleveland is so much more than what Giannis did
not
for
even in the same stratosphere.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you like LeBron. It's just it is what it is. It's just a horrific take.
We'll talk about this though. Of course that was not the best take, right? But we're acting like Giannis already won. They haven't won the title yet, Big T.
Exactly.
So, of course, it's 3-2. I know Scott Foster's there. Give me some predictions on Game 6 because I'm not as excited about the Suns getting the job done tonight. I don't have the confidence in the world, but hey, it's still Game 6, and if you get the Game 7, anything can happen, Tony.
If you want to laugh, go on Twitter and search Scott Foster, and some of these GIFs and things that are popping up are just freaking hilarious of him coming for Chris Paul. They had me rolling at lunch today, but yeah, it doesn't look good for the Suns, but I don't know. I'm kind of hoping they can dig deep. I don't want them to go out like this, losing 4 straight. I'm not a huge Suns guy, but the Bucks, I'm with Hoop. They just ran good. They got a good path, got some luck along the way, some injuries. They have played good this series. I'll give them credit. I didn't think they could beat the Suns. They've played better in this series than I think they should have. They've run good in this too. So a couple games ago when I was at Disney, I never even talked about this because I was gone. But so everyone talked about that Booker call when he had 5 and wrapped him up. It should have been a foul. No one talks about the terrible call that was 5th to start the quarter when he picked up his 5th, had to sit the first 9 minutes of the damn quarter when they were up 15 or something. And all of a sudden he's got to sit the whole quarter before that. They forgot all about that, I guess. But anyways, the Suns have totally choked down the stretch, which is in CP3's. Now, I love CP3 more than Hoop does, but it's in his nature to crumble in these spots, and he's been so bad down the stretch. I hope they dig deep tonight, though. I'm rooting for the Suns. I'm going to give a bunch of my takes on the premium show. I'm going to hop on with JSU after the baseball talk. So I'm not going to talk a ton on here, but we'll talk a bunch on the premium side.
Okay, Aaron, let me get your take on this because we always like to hate on Chris Paul. I know Hoop does for not getting the job done, but I want to ask you this. Wasn't a lot of his hate from the Clippers days? And can't we just blame Doc for it and then just give Chris Paul his respect back? Maybe?
I give CP3 respect for a lot of things. I think no matter where he goes, he makes the team better. I think he's one of the best point guards ever. I just think he doesn't have that finishing gene where it's closing time. I just don't think he knows how to close the door.
He doesn't have it. Yeah, he's the type of player. He's going to make everyone around him better. There's no doubt about it. He seems like an amazing teammate. if there's one guy I could sign up to have as the leader of my team, it would be him. But when you factor in his inability to get the job done in the playoffs, I mean, it's a real thing. And the Suns probably ran even better than the Bucks to get here. You know, they get the Lakers in the first round with, Anthony Davis dead. And then obviously at that point, it was an easy win. They get the Nuggets in the next round where the Nuggets had, half their team out. And then who'd they play in that next round to get? I can't even remember. Kawhi. And then Kawhi. So he's given a gift to get to this point. And, if he doesn't finish this one off, which it's not looking like he's gonna, I mean, he can't get it done, unfortunately. Yeah, he's a great player. He makes everyone around him better, but he can't go out there and put a team on his shoulders and get the job done, unfortunately. So, and that's going to be, with him forever because this is probably his last chance. I mean, I can't imagine them, making a run back-to-back years. There's going to be some moves, obviously, in the offseason. Some of these teams are going to get better, and they're clearly just not going to run as good as they did this playoff run.
All right, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe on the video. Helps us out a ton. Also, use that code OPEN50 to get 50% off. Sign up today to check out the content. We'll get into the baseball. If you want to get a head start, use OPEN50, get in on that, and check out the playbook, the core plays, all that stuff. Big T, I want to go to you for two things. One, Steve Anthony, one of our loyal. I mean, this is one of the things that kills me every time. And the loss of Dario Saric, like that's not the difference, right? I mean, if it's a guy that's a starter, I can get it, but Dario Saric is not going to be this big difference maker that would have turned things around for the Suns. And then Tony A wants us to talk some Big Brother. So give me some takes on both of those.
Yeah, I mean, Saric, I said the same thing about DiVincenzo. I said the same thing about Saric. I'll say the same thing about Barton for Denver. The list goes on and on and on and on, but these role guys, I just don't think they mean as much as other people do. I mean, don't get me wrong. If they got Saric, sure, you'd rather play him than some other guy, but all that it does is limits their rotation a little bit because Kaminsky hasn't played. They're just playing these other guys more minutes. I don't know. Maybe it hurts a little bit, but I never buy into the role players, just like I didn't buy into DiVincenzo because Connaughton, he's not as good as DiVincenzo, but I don't think it impacts their title odds at all. Like they're similar players, kind of like Hoop talked about with the Toronto guy and who was it? The two freaking guys that are the same dude.
Who?
The Toronto when they traded
Norman Powell and Gary
Norman Powell and Gary Trent Jr.
Yeah,
they're the same players.
Guys. Like all those guys like that are similar. It's just a matter of your stars and what they do and then how good the role players gel with them. But I don't know. I don't buy into that. Yeah, it's not like McLongrod said. Yeah, it's not like losing Jamal Murray. I mean, the Nuggets played this Suns team. I had hope. They beat Portland without Jamal Murray, which is embarrassing to Portland. But I held out hope that they could do it, but it was clear watching the Suns Nuggets that they needed Jamal Murray. I mean, Campazzo just couldn't get it done. You need some stars in there. So, yeah. And then as far as Big Brother, I'm not completely caught up, but just like usual, every single season we got dudes overplaying their hand week one. They get so power hungry too when they're HOH. Like, who cares if you're HOH? Doesn't mean anything. And just because you win one competition early, you're not some competition monster. Stop saying that too. That's another thing that annoys me. If you win one random competition, you're not a comp beast. Stop saying that, people.
No, I'm with you on that. I mean, we saw some of like the best competitors, right? Like Casey was a really good competitor. Victor, they never won at first, right? And then they absolutely steamrolled when they needed to and got the job done. So, Hoop, you were talking before, you were saying the cast is not the best. Frenchie is that guy when the first home run gets it in DFS, right? He's in the chat going nuts. I got a home run. I get it. It can be tilting sometimes if you don't have that home run, but he's overplaying the game, obviously. And Hoop, the cast is a little rough so far.
Yeah, Dexter, what is his name? Dexter 777. If he was a Big Brother fan, Frenchie has to be his favorite character at this point.
For sure.
Just out of that, I mean, here's the thing about
you better relax, bro. Just said I'm related to Frenchie. Get out of here. Simon, boot him out of here. I don't wear overalls. Come on. Get out of here. You better relax, bro.
Oh, you're definitely related to Frenchie. Yeah, that's a massive insult. Like, the thing with Big Brother, if you've ever watched a season or if you've seen like some of the best players, what do they all have in common? For the most part, they start out playing slow and then they kind of hit that peak at the end. And Frenchie,
Every single one of them forever too. Literally every single one of them's played this way. The only exception is like if it's an all returning cast and everyone already knows you're good, then you got to sometimes shoot a little quicker. But
like what he did? Who won? Cody was Cody last year, right? Like there was an all-star cast. He knew he had to win or he's going to be targeted. He built his alliance by winning early on. But the people that come in, new, fresh house, like they always lay low and then kind of turn it on towards the end. And, Frenchie just did the complete opposite. It's always slow, though, with the cast because you're getting to know these people. And eventually over time, you start to like some of them. As it stands now, I mean, no one's really standing out to me as someone I think has a good chance to win. So maybe that'll make it interesting. I don't know. But, Big Brother – the format is my favorite show on TV, the way it's formatted. So, hopefully we get some excitement here moving forward.
Yeah, sharpest player so far is, I don't know if it's Derek X or Derek, but he's the guy that he did the veto challenge. And he said, we all have the same exact puzzle, right? So I'm going to do the bottom while they all do the top, and then they'll just build it for me. And then he was being such a donkey, not getting the straw part down, which I thought was funny. But he's my favorite player. I think he's. Yeah,
I think the woman from Detroit actually seems pretty solid too. I think she was does something in the medical field. She has longer cornrow things in her hair, and I think she's looked pretty solid. She's made some strategic comments that I was pretty impressed with.
Yeah, wait, Big T, so you said you're behind. Have you not seen Sunday's episode? Because you haven't seen Sunday's episode. Like, Frenchie's even more of a donkey. I mean, I
don't need to see Sunday to know how big of a donkey he is.
No.
I haven't seen Sunday, though, so.
No, but you have to see Sunday, right? Because when you see Sunday, it gets even worse of how much of a donkey he is, right?
Yes, yeah. Sunday is pretty solid. Like the first 3 episodes, I was not impressed with. Sunday, things kind of picked up a little bit. And
it always gets better, though. We say this at the beginning of every season with new people. It's just a matter of if they get a little better as the season goes or if they stay donkeys.
Yeah.
Well, we got Chris in the chat. He says, fake TV, this is crap. And then Mamba for Life says, then get out, Chris. This is for winners only. Good vibes only. Big T, you love that comment, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I always love that comment because it's how we roll in here. And my man Nicholas Story in there, too, is talking. Simon, I'm still waiting on my hoodie. People act like we don't have any hoodies. When we get a new order of hoodies, I will send you Nick Story. You think I don't know you're one of our best people? You'll get a hoodie whenever we get them. We literally I have so many people that ask us for hoodies. So when football season comes, we're going to do another order. You mark my words. I have no hoodies. Like there's not a single hoodie. Hoop doesn't have one. I don't have one. No one has one.
We're going to get Uncle T to get us a Under Armour hoodie order. We're going to get some nice Under Armour hoodies for everyone in the winter. That is for sure. One other thing I will say about the Big Brother cast, they didn't do us any favors. Usually they give us about, if you're there looking for some eye candy, they usually give us about 2 or 3 options. I think we're already down to 1 right out of the gate. That what's her name, Alyssa? She's looking solid. Outside of that, I mean, there is not any options.
There's a few bigger ladies, a few bigger ones this season. Which
the blonde with the big lips. She got big lips. She's got the wide old hips. But that's not my style. Maybe that's Mangone style. That's not my thing.
No, not my style. But I will say, one of the girls I think she's a good story. The girl Brittany. I don't know if you heard her story. It's a good if she could win. I think she has some type of I forget what she has, but she's like.
Is she a single mother?
No, she's the one. I think she did karate or something. But I forget what she has some type of. I don't want to say the wrong word for it, but it's a good feel good story. So I'm rooting for her, but I like Derek X the most. Someone's saying he's probably a follower. I don't know. I haven't watched the streams though. Have you guys watched much of the streams? Because I really haven't.
It's on a different channel, right? It's on
that Paramount Plus, that streaming service. I haven't watched them.
I probably won't watch them this season when it's on. I don't even know what Paramount Plus is. So
it's like a streaming service basically. They're trying, all these.
I'm not signing up for some streaming service for it.
Yeah. By the way,
unless it gets real good, I shouldn't say never because if it gets real good, I might sign up. But
if there's something good going on after an eviction, you'll probably you'll pay.
Yeah, I probably will. I take it back. I probably will at some point.
RPS Goat says, make sure you guys get the triple XL hoodies for the big guys. I mean, Big T, I think you know.
I slide right into a triple X, so I can guarantee you we'll get some triple X's in there.
After that vacation, I'm sure Big T, you probably ate good on the vacation. That's how it goes.
I had that freaking issue with the damn kidney stone, so I didn't eat as good as I should have. I had to come back lighter. I got that hospital bill today too. I mean, good Lord, they rape you in the hospital.
I need to get the RPS insurance going. I get raped anytime anyone in my family goes to the hospital. I get absolutely bent over.
It blows your mind when you see the bill. Like,
it's crazy.
How is it that high? Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's never fun. I thought I was going to get my wisdom teeth taken out last week, and I was dreading what on earth the bills could be for that. But luckily, I'm still okay. I still got them in, and hopefully they don't fall apart on me soon. But we've talked a bunch of stuff. Hoop, just give me your final take on the Bucks. I know Big T was holding his for the premium show. Do you think the Bucks close it out tonight, and then we'll get into some baseball?
I mean, I've just talked so much shit to Title about his Bucks and all that. I mean, also, I have no choice but to root for the Suns. Literally just for that reason alone. Like, I'm not, I don't have any financial play really on the finals. Like, it's just all like rooting interest. So literally my primary focus in the finals is rooting against Title's Bucks. So I can say I told you so.
All right. Well, that'll be fun to watch.
He's going to be sitting in that damn deer district tonight. I just picture him.
Seriously, think about it. Like we gotta text him. Let's get a group text with Title. I want videos so we can incorporate it in the show. So he's down there in his fucking Giannis jersey, jumping around like a 15-year-old girl down there. You know it for sure.
I would love to see it. Like if it cut into the deer district and we just saw him, it would be the best.
I wish we knew some of Title's friends because I'd love for them to get his ass on video.
We can give him a great reward for it, too.
Gosh.
Yeah.
If you're watching this show and you're one of Title's boys that he hangs out with in Deer District, get in touch with us. We need some evidence of this.
I mean, listen, if you're on Twitter, like one of the guys today was talking to me, he called Title by his first name, and I'm blanking what it even is right now. If you're calling him by his first name, you know Title in person.
Yes.
Those are the guys to look for on Twitter when they're calling him by the first name. But
what about Joey Work yesterday on the show? I said, we got to ride with the bets team, Baltimore, and Baltimore over against the chalkiest pitcher on the slate because our boy Joey Work from the bet side said to take Baltimore and over. He just owned Title's ass, too. Title's like, who's even pitching? Title.
Yarborough.
Yarborough's the best pitcher on the slate. Just like the normal Title just says the most obvious, the highest project. Joey Work said, no, Title. I'm taking Baltimore in the over right up the chute, Title. That's what we do, Joey Work.
We had Joey Work get that one home. JJ got his home too, so it was good to get that one for the bet side. Again, use that code GETBETS, right? That'll get you the bet side for, I believe, you get it for a month, right? So if you sign up on Pure Sports, get the bet side for free for an entire month, which you don't want to miss out on. We got all the betting winners. I mean, Keg is killing it with the NASCAR. It's going good over there. We got people in the chat who are celebrating Lester. I don't know if you guys were on Lester, but I wasn't. But we can dive into the baseball and start.
We got to talk about Bearded Disciple first to polish off Title and Tidy Whitey's on live TV. It's a great.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Title. Oh man, what a good kid though. After all, I mean, we apparently he's probably already in Deer District, so he's clearly not watching because he might have camped out there last night.
How many times do you think he's peeled today?
Oh my gosh! If he's jerking off, I mean, that last second before the climax, he's got like Giannis, Bucks, Deer District just blowing up in his head. Guaranteed.
The poster has to be on the ceiling, no doubt. There's got to be a Giannis poster. I believe it 100%. But we'll dive in and talk the MLB again. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Helps us out a ton. We'll go over to you, Hoop. This is a tough pitching slate. Like, it's not a great one, right? You have some names, right? You have Trevor Rogers, who's made a bit of a name for himself, I think, this year, but not in the best spot against Washington, who's been crushing it, and it's hot out there. You've talked about how sneaky the park is. You got Darvish. You got Aaron Nola. I mean, there are some guys, but I'm not super excited about it. You have Luis Garcia, who's been decent this year, getting Cleveland. Alex Wood, who's, not in a great matchup. It's just at the top, there are some names, and then there's some guys that are interesting, but in tough matchups. So I don't really know what to do with these guys at the top. It feels like a better slate maybe to go down for some pitchers. But again, when you go down, I mean, there's only a couple options I like, and I think there's going to be some chalky ones that you're going to be interested in.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, not a great slate for pitching. I mean, it's obviously a little bit better than yesterday. I mean, yesterday was a complete, crapshoot at the pitcher position for the most part. At the top, the guys I feel most comfortable with, above 9K, probably I'd take a chance on Darvish, but there is weather there again tonight. not as bad as last night. And you have to imagine they do their best to get this game in because they, postponed the one last night. But it looks like it should play, maybe some sort of like late start or something. The weather, the chance of the rain kind of dies off as the game goes on. So I'd be willing to go to Yu Darvish here. The other guy I have interest in is Aaron Nola. Obviously, the matchup not the greatest against the Yankees. The ballpark not the greatest either. But those are honestly the two guys that I feel most comfortable with. You got Alex Wood in a tough matchup. You got Trevor Rogers in a pretty tough matchup. And then I'm just not paying $10,400 for Luis Garcia. So at the top, the two that stand out to me are Darvish and Nola. But, I don't feel great about them. I don't think they're locks. I don't think you have to build around them. Kind of doing what I did yesterday. And, I put my offenses in and kind of came back and said, which two pitchers can I play? In cash games, that might be a little bit different. Your strategy might be a little bit different, but in GPPs tonight, I feel like that's the way to go. Get your offense, come back, and then kind of find two guys that you feel comfortable with. If you can get Darvish and Nola, that would probably be my preferred pairing. There are some bats that I want though, so I don't think you have to go there. So it's, overall just not a great position, but at the top, like I said, Darvish and Nola are the two guys that I'm kind of looking at.
All right, Big T, I'll go over to you. I was kind of with you yesterday. I ended up playing I played, what was his name? Was it Woodford or Woodford? I forget what his name was, but the Cardinals pitcher, he got the job done, right? And for cheap, all the people were probably making fun of you for it, but I like punting the pitcher at times, especially when I don't love pitching. And
I just own G Rison. I just told him he can pick either ace. I don't even need the point differential. Just owned you, G Rison. You need to get my shipment in the mail because I need my winnings. I know you're watching. Get it in the mail.
Yep. So send it over to Big T. I do think Aaron Nola, though. Listen, at the top,
have you ever done that, man? Go and just say, "I'll take a 4,800 pitcher over your 10K pitcher, and I'm going to own you." Have you ever? It feels good when you do it.
When you say it to someone, they kind of take a step back is the best part, right? When you say it, they don't know if they want to actually. They get the paper hands, right? They get a little nervous. What are you seeing that you're not seeing? And yeah, I've done it sometimes, but I don't think I've done that big of one. I did get DC the other day, though, pretty good. He took Alex Kirilloff. I took Jose Abreu. He was talking all this stuff, and I obviously got the better guy, but I kind of baited him in like Title has baited DC, so that was pretty good the other day. So I got lunch on him coming. But Aaron Nola, Tony, I want to talk.
Yeah, one other thing. Sorry, I wanted to point out because the chat brought it up is the Yankees lineup today, and it is really bad, and I do think that is a big boost to Nola. So. Yeah,
that was exactly what I was about to bring up. This Yankees lineup, right? Listen, you typically get Brett Gardner in that like 9 hole, right? Like you got, I'll read it to you.
Before you guys even go into it, like I'm not even going to let you guys keep talking about it because this is the same spot as Yarbrough yesterday. Mega chalk guy with a pretty low projection. God, Nola sucks. Nola's not good. He's going to be by far the highest owned dude on the slate. I know.
Well, so why don't you want to do that, right? Is it because of the other bats that you want? Is it like you want to prioritize?
No, I don't think he's going to do good. I don't want to pay a 50% owned Aaron Nola when I don't think he's that good for 9,500 against a Yankees team. Yeah, it looks bad. Some of these dudes, I don't even know who this Florial dude is, or Greg Allen sucks, but I just don't see it. The projection's not high. I can play some of these other guys for way cheaper. I don't want to play a 50% on Aaron Nola.
I get it for sure. That lineup is bad though, right? Like Greg Allen in the 7 hole, yeah, Gardner in the 6 hole, Tyler Wade at the 8, and Estevan Florial. Like I don't know if that's Ricky Flowers' cousin, but he's not very good. So, man, cash games hoop. I'm pretty sure that's where you should start, right? If I was, loading up my cash games on DK and even FanDuel, I think it's easy to fit in there, Aaron Nola. Would you do that? But tournaments, I understand not wanting to go there to jam in some of these other bats.
Yeah, looking at the price tag on FanDuel, like where you play one pitcher, he's only 9.1K. I think, it's a good price tag. I'm willing to take my chances just because I don't see many other options. Maybe, Big T sells us on a couple guys here, but as it stands, I'm just not excited really about any of these guys. 9-1 on FanDuel, I think it's just a fair price tag, easy to play the offenses you want. And I think he's probably one of the safer guys. Maybe he doesn't have that big ceiling game. We really haven't seen him from him lately, but I think he's probably the safest guy out there. So, give me Nola. I am believing in him a little bit more based on this Yankees lineup.
All right, Tony, just tell me what pitchers you're interested in then, because I don't want to play the guessing game. I'm assuming Marquez could be in the conversation, but it is in Coors and it's not the greatest spot, but he's been great and it is Seattle. So you can make an argument for that, but the weather's rough, but I don't want to guess it. So just give me your pitcher breakdown here.
I mean, just to start with Marquez, I mean, look at his friggin' numbers. Like, he's been incredible. He goes for 20 plus every game. I mean, he went for 27 in Coors, 37 in Coors, 19 in Coors, 24, 25, 31. He goes off every game in Coors. So, and the sample's big now too, right? It's been all season he's crushed. It's not like it's been 3 starts. And you know what makes it even better? He gets to face Seattle, who sucks. I mean, Seattle is not a good hitting team. So, yeah, I mean, I love Marquez, and I think he's a way, way better play than Nola. He's just better. His numbers are better, and people aren't going to play him because it's in Coors. And, why is he not a better play than Nola?
Yeah, I mean, I get it for sure, right? He's been amazing. And that's one thing.
All year, right? Like, how many starts in are we?
Yeah, I mean, you can play 2 too, right? Like, you don't have to only play the 1. I think on FanDuel, I'm definitely debating that, right? Like,
how much is Marquez on FanDuel?
I think he's only it might only be like 500 difference, right? Where I think he's 9,100 for
8.6, $500 difference.
Yeah, and I think more people are going to play Nola naturally, right? So, and I mean,
Nola is the play that this is what I think people fall into this in baseball, where they just play the easy guy. I even do it sometimes where it's just like Nola's just the easy play. Just, okay, I'm going to play Nola. He's easy to fit in. He's got the highest floor. He's just the safest play. And I just don't, of course I'm not a cash player either. So it's easy for me to say it in tournaments because if it doesn't work out, I just move on to tomorrow. You guys are more, I need to beat more people than I lose to. I need to be more in that middle ground to climb up. I'm not good at that. So I'm the wrong person for the safe take, but I just think he's better. And even like a guy like Tyler Anderson, who I know no one's going to play too, he's had some good starts. And I just keep playing guys against Arizona because Arizona's terrible. I mean, I know the price tag looks high. He's 8,500 on DK, which is it's too expensive. He shouldn't be 8,500, but it's based on the slate. There's no good pitching today. I'd rather play a pitcher against Arizona than the Yankees, even though the Yankees lineup doesn't look great. I know for sure Arizona's lineup isn't great. They're awful. They've won like 10 games in the last 70 or something crazy. They're so bad. So I like that. I mean, Schoolball too against Texas. Basically, I want to pick on some of these teams that just suck with pitchers that are lower owned than Nola is my plan.
Yeah, and I will say I'm out here looking at Schoolball, and he's 7-7. If you look at his game log, right, since like May 19th, the lowest number he's gotten is 10.3, right? And he has been good against Texas, right? This is a perfect spot for him. And you can even look on the opposite side, like Dane Dooning is not the worst idea, right? I mean, he could get the job done against the Tigers. I know the Tigers are a team that I don't want to pick on, but you can make an argument that in tournaments, the upside is technically there. So I don't want to sleep on him. I think he's someone you could play in tournaments. And then, like, Tony, we've attacked Tampa Bay all season long, right? John Means, I don't think John Means is amazing, but I know Tampa Bay.
So what's the deal with him? You're the press conference guy. He hasn't pitched in forever, right? How's he built up or whatever?
Yeah, I don't have that answer. I will say. I wish
I get nervous when they're making their first start back. Like I just don't, unless somebody tells me he's like been worked up in the minors. I'm not comfortable playing him unless somebody says that.
And that's my fear with Nola too, right? Because Nola, I mean, yes, he only pitched July 6th for the last time, but he came off the IL, right? Whenever it's the first time off the IL, like the other day I was talking to someone, they were like, do you think the Brewers can get the Sonny Gray? And I was like, I mean, they could if Sonny Gray's not right. I mean, obviously a guy could get rushed back or he could re-aggravate something. Even Greinke yesterday, Greinke had that shoulder issue and he got pulled a little bit earlier than normal. He got pulled at like 5.1 innings at like 80 pitches. And that can happen with guys coming off of injury. So those are little things that you kind of have to think about when rostering your pitchers. Hoop, I'll go over to you. We mentioned some other guys, right? We mentioned Dooning. We mentioned Skubal against Texas. We know they can strike out a ton. Are there any guys in this mid-tier and lower that you have some interest in?
Yeah, I think Skubal is a guy that a lot of people are going to be on here tonight. The price is fair. He's been pitching well. There's just not a lot of options. You see, he really hasn't gotten blown. I mean, the one thing that's really nice about him, if you look at the game log, he hasn't gotten blown up at all, at all season long. I mean, his worst outing from a fantasy perspective is 10 fantasy points. You can survive if a guy goes out there and gets you 10, especially on this slate with the pitching. So that's one thing that's really working in his favor. It's a good matchup, and he has not gotten rocked this season, which, some slates, that's not enough to say a guy hasn't gotten rocked. This slate, to me, that's enough. Like again, we talked about it yesterday, me and Tony. Yesterday you say you give me 30 fantasy points at pitcher, I'll take it and move on. Today it's probably the same for me. If I can get 30, I'm taking my 30 and I'm getting the hell out of the position. So I do feel good about him now, looking at the game log and how I also agree with you guys, Marquez. I like Marquez too. I mean, the reason, Tony, you asked why won't people be on him? The reason people won't be on him is very simple. People just won't play pitchers in Coors Field. Look what this guy has done.
He's been 19, so good.
Yeah, 19. I mean, I'm just looking at fantasy points. 19, 32, 37, 27, 35, and 3 of those games were in Coors Field. He knows how to pitch in Coors Field. Like, there's guys that know how to do it. There's some guys that go there, their stuff doesn't work and they can't adjust. He knows how to get it done. I think he's a great play. Dunning, oh man, like I've picked on these Tigers so much and it's just pounded me. And after last night, I played a little Gibson. I said, you know what? I'm just not picking on the Tigers anymore. But 6-7 is a good price tag. Again, it's similar to Kubel. Can he survive, or Skubal? Can he survive and rack up enough fantasy points? I think he can do it. You're not paying a premium for him like you were with Gibson last night. Can he go out and get you 14 fantasy points? I think so. So I do have some interest in him. But again, this is a slate where I'll probably be on 5 or 6 pitchers at the most. I'm not full MMEing, but if I was, I'd only be playing like 5 or 6 guys.
Yeah, Big T, I'll go back to you. And I've said his name wrong, Dunning, whatever you say his name. I mean, whatever. He played the Tigers last time, Tony, right? I don't like taking guys like the next time out against the pitcher. But he got 20 fantasy points last time out, right? Of course, he can easily get the job done again. What's your thoughts on a pitcher like that? And what do you think of McClanahan? That's another guy that's being brought up that I've heard you talk about, and I see the chat talking about a little bit too.
Yeah, I mean, I like Dunning, or however the hell you say his name, like you said. I like him. I mean, same thing as Hoop. I agree with what you guys said, basically. I don't mind him if I land on him just because he is cheap. Like, if I get the perfect team and I have to play him over Scooball or something to get it, I'm okay with that, I think. I don't like him as much as Scooball, but I do think he has a chance to pitch well tonight. I don't love it. I could even see myself stacking Detroit in some spots just because they have just hit the ball pretty well. But I don't know. I'm okay with it. As far as McClanahan, though, same thing as yesterday. I'm not playing lefties against Baltimore. And the good thing about tonight, Nola and McClanahan are for sure going to be the 2 highest owned pitchers on the slate, and I don't like either one of them. So and I don't like Luis Garcia too, kind of like Hoop said, where 10-4 for that, just an outrageous price point. And I don't even think he's even a better play than like Scooball, just points. I'd probably rather play Scooball than him, not even talking about salary. So that's just an easy fade to me. So I kind of like it. It reminds me of last night in a lot of ways where, yeah, Ohtani crushed last night. I liked him the best of the top guys, but I didn't really play anybody at the top. Tonight, I mean, one of these guys may pitch well, but I'm pretty confident that at least 2 of these guys aren't going to do well. I'm going to fade all 3 of them. And I like our other range, Marquez, Scooball, Tyler Anderson, Dunning. And I might go back to this Cardinals guy just because, just like yesterday, the Cubs strike out so damn much. They suck. They cannot hit right-handed pitching. This dude isn't going to go deep. He's not incredible at all, but he's 6,500, bad pitching slate. Maybe he gets me 12, 13 points. I like him less than the other guys. So back to the original point, if he somehow gets me some bigger offense or something and I had to punt with this guy, I'm okay with that just because the Cubs suck.
Yeah, my only problem is that dude does suck too, but I get it.
Yeah, he's bad, but I mean, the dude yesterday was bad, and he struck out 8 dudes or 6 dudes or whatever he did.
No, it's fair. I don't know how bad he really was, but you never know with those younger guys. Hoop, give me your final thoughts on the pitchers, then we'll kind of move on to the hitters.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of similar to yesterday for me, where it's more of an offensive slate. I'm gonna, stack my offenses that I like, and then come back to pitcher and mix in, 5 or 6 guys: Darvish, Nola, Marquez, Skubal, maybe a little Dunning. There's one other guy. Was that Tony that you were talking about, McClanahan? You liked him or no? Or you
No,
don't like
I said I don't like him.
Yeah, you don't like him. He's cheaper. I think he's cheaper maybe on FanDuel. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's going to be like those 5 or 6 pitchers, and it's more offense for me tonight.
All right. Before we move on and talk about the offense, Tony, I want to talk about the members never win segment. I'm not talking about a member, though. I want to talk about Uncle T real quick, right? I mean, we got to talk about Uncle T yesterday real quick. Our boy Uncle T.
Just embarrassing.
He's on the playbook today, right? You know, he's doing the playbook, and he sends me a screenshot. He says, "Oh, Uncle T's on the playbook." I had to give him the bad news. I'm not on the golf show with him and Snyder anymore, or with him anymore. The Snyder's on the show, taking my spot. He's been crushing it. But I told Uncle T I'm not going to be on the golf show. But he was like, "Oh, man, I'm on the playbook, and look at this hit last night." He didn't screenshot it. He didn't tell the people he had a winner. I mean, talk about that real quick.
I mean, it's just embarrassing. I mean, him and freaking JSU, these guys, JSU on a bigger scale. Uncle T crushes. Yesterday at lunch, he's like, "Man, I've been crushing baseball. I'm on fire," talking about all his wins. I'm like, "Uncle T, I don't know, because you never do anything to show anyone that you're winning. I know people get annoyed by it, but you got to promote your work a little bit. You got to show people when you do good." So last night, the dude plays for like $200, wins like $6,000, which is amazing. He's doing great baseball content for us. No one freaking knows, though, because he doesn't tell anyone. And I think he went to sleep because he's old. The guy probably didn't even root in the end of it. He probably figured it out in the morning. But the dude doesn't screenshot. No one knows. And then he's like, "I don't know how to do that." What do you mean you don't know how to do that? Take a damn screenshot, post it on Twitter, and show people your nutsack.
Yeah, Hoop, I even wrote it up for him. When he sent it to me, I said, all you got to do is say, "Ready to bring the winners after a nice little night." I gave him the @Run Pure Sports. I wrote it out for him, real simple. I mean, you didn't know that Uncle T won, and he still hasn't done anything about it, Hoop.
So Uncle T rolls, man. Like he under the radar a little bit. You know, he'll take his shots here and there, but I had no idea, and I wish I would have known. I mean, could at least let his buddies know. I mean, I consider Uncle T to be a close friend, and I had no idea. So it's kind of
$206,000, Hoop. 206 freaking grand. Like, it doesn't tell anyone.
And we still don't have lunch. We still don't have lunch from Uncle T as well. We got to bring that up as well, right?
Yeah, that's the more pressing issue. That's the more pressing issue. And now I can't even remember I took Patty Perez. It was one of the situations where Tony just laid out, where he took like the cheapest pitcher on the slate versus the top guy. I took my boy Patty Perez versus who was it? It was like
it wasn't Patty Perez. You took even worse than that. You took some.
He had like his boy Thomas Peters. Remember, wasn't it Peters, man, that he was all jerking off to?
6,100 guy though, and owned him.
Yeah, So apparently I'm gonna have to come back down to Kentucky to get my lunch. Mangone, we're gonna have to plan a trip.
Yeah, gotta plan.
Joey works at Uncle T owes me lunch. He owes me lunch.
Looks like
Uncle T's gonna have to start a catering business to start paying off these debts.
That's too good. Uncle T owes everyone lunch, but he just hit. So congrats to our boy Uncle T. Excited about that. You can check him out. You can check Hoop out. You can check Snyder out on the PGA show tonight. And then at 10 o'clock on the Run Pure Bets channel, you can get Joey Works bets all the time over there, JJ's, but you'll be getting me, Uncle T, Snyder, JJ, and Bobby Gomes. We'll be talking some betting stuff for the golf, the 3M Open. So be sure to check that out. Again, tonight at 8:30 on the Run Pure Sports channel, and then 10 o'clock on the Run Pure Bets channel. Big T, what are you laughing at over there from the chat?
Yuri said, "Uncle T is old school. Walk quiet, carry a big stick."
That sounds like Uncle T for sure.
I'll tell you one spot he doesn't carry a big stick, and that's in the cornhole pits. He's shriveled up like a 5-year-old boy in the pool for the first time.
Oh, man. You'll never let him live that one down. I hope Uncle T can get a bounce back there on that one.
You got to root him in next time, man. You got to go out there in the sandals and show some support.
I might change my
Mangone likes sticking with winners, and he knows Hoop's a winner, so he likes being on the winning side. The only guy, once again, at that event that backed Big T and Hoop in the cornhole pits for the main event. He's the only guy rooting us in.
Yeah, I mean, I basically said, what are the points? Leave the points at the window, Tony. That's what I said. Leave the points at the window. I'll be on the dog, and we'll just cash that money line ticket. So, yeah, I might root Uncle T home. Maybe I'll even shave a stash for him, right? And root him home with the mustache to get the job done. But let's talk about the hitters. Let's talk about the catchers. Big T, you typically like to just say whatever your stack is, go ahead and put that catcher in. That's kind of, I think, the approach I typically take. Unless there's a super chalky catcher for cheap, then maybe I want to spend up to get a little unique if I got the money to do it. But Big T, catchers, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, it looks more of the same. I was trying, like, pretty much like I said yesterday, trying to find somewhere that you can kind of stick out. I mean, I guess Diaz in Coors Field, he's going to be popular. If I had to pick one guy, though, I mean, Marco Gonzalez throws meatballs. Diaz, he's pretty expensive, so maybe he ends up lower owned because of it. I mean, people don't like to pay $4,600 for a catcher. I don't know. I think he sticks off the page. Looking at the rest of the matchups, though, nothing like crazy sticks out. It's another one of those days, just like every day for the most part, whoever you stack. I talked about him yesterday, but we had the rain out. Again today, against you, Darvish. I know you don't want to pick on him, but vote 2,200. He's one of these weird guys that comes through for me in these spots. People always like these Big T guys. And vote. We got a little weather again today just to keep our eye on. I think they play. They shouldn't rain out back-to-back days, I wouldn't think. But as long as the weather's good, I think vote at 2,200 is a very interesting leverage type play tonight.
Yeah, they probably have to get that one in, right? Because they can't like rain out too, especially for San Diego. That's a little tough to get those games in. Hoop, as a cash guy, right? I feel like Vote has been a guy that you've played in myself. Like I used to always call him Vote the GOAT because he used to always get the job done in cash games. That was when FanDuel had catchers, right? Only catchers. So I feel like you're on board with Vote too as an interesting option, possibly as a big platoon play.
Yeah, he was like, I don't think they ever raised his price above like 2.5K, and like he always got the job done on FanDuel. In cash games, the guys are going to be kind of looking at Mitch Garver batting second, 3.6K. He obviously has some pop. Jonah Heim, if that's how you pronounce his name. I know we like Scooble, but he's 2K batting fifth. Then you got another 2K guy in Coors, Cal Raleigh, batting fifth. We like Marquez again, but he's 2K. So if you're just going to punt off the position, that's fine. Tucker Barnhart batting seventh, 2.8K. And then I'm curious to see if James McCann gets in the lineup for the Mets. He had, I believe it was a pinch hit bomb last night. I'd really like him tonight against lefty if he's in that lineup. So, be saving some money here, mid threes and below, tons of options you can play. I mean, it's catcher. It's a shitty position.
All right, we got Matt Shea in the chat, and he's asking a question here. He said, I just lost it, but he said, first time playing MLB DFS, am I in the right place? Tony, maybe he's starting from the beginning. How do we do these shows, right? We talk, we have some laughs, right? We talk about some stuff at first, and then we dive into it. Tell Matt how the show kind of goes.
He must be a little behind because we're diving into winners right now. But yeah, the show goes. It's a free show. We talk about whatever the hell we want. And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch.
Yeah, but simple. And then what we do is we'll dive into MLB, right? If you haven't caught up yet, we're talking some MLB. You can sign up, use the code OPEN50 to get 50% off. Check out the playbook, right? Check out the core plays and hang out with JSU, Draft Sheet, or whoever else is on the premium show. And they'll be answering all your questions up to lock and give you the winners. So that's awesome. You got to watch that. It helps you kind of break everything down and get our full thoughts on the slate. But yeah, we like to BS around. We like to tell some jokes. We like to make fun of Titletown, make fun of ourselves. It's a good time over here. We're happy to have you. Again, use that code OPEN50 to get 50% off, Matt. Love to have you. And it sounds like he made another comment in the chat and he says, love it. I'm trying to follow. So just want to get you on board. So like and subscribe to that channel and love having you here. Hoop, we got 157 likes with 501 watching. And I don't want to get big paywall 44 out here. So how do we get those likes, Hoop? But what's the number we're getting to give out the plays?
That's how we tempted them yesterday. They got the job done. Like if we can't get the likes up, big, I like that name, big paywall. Mr. Big T will be back to the premium show. I mean, he's been away from the free show for a while. We pleaded and begged and asked to get him back on the free show. He came back. Good flow yesterday. Great flow today. Need to keep him here. The best way to keep him here is to get the likes up and the subscriptions up. So like, subscribe, and Big T will stay with us on the free show here.
Yep, let's get that job done there. People want it. They want to get the plays of the day. They want the workbench play. They want all the plays. So we'll do that. But let's move on. Let's go.
Mangone, yesterday, did you see what we had this catcher from Washington projected on the site? We had him projected for like 17 points, and then he hit a bomb. It was obviously a miss, an error on the site that we put up, but we had him projected for like 17, and then he hit a bomb. And he comes back today, and he's 2K again. So I should at least mention that because he brought good mojo yesterday. It was an error that turned into a little bit of a success.
Yeah, and Tony, I heard someone on this show talk about that Marlins bullpen being good. Like, watch the people in the chat. That Marlins bullpen's not that good, right? So that's good for some of these 2K guys at times. So
they were not good. I can confirm that. They gave up a lot of runs yesterday.
It's not. I saw the 2021 numbers, and I was like, I mean, listen, you can look at bullpen numbers on probably a bunch of different sites, and maybe some are right, some are wrong, but it didn't look like they were good numbers. So those Nationals, they're hitting the ball well, right? They're absolutely dominating. So you don't want to fade them. Even against Trevor Rogers, you can make a case for him, I think, with how hot they are and that stadium. And let's go to Josh Bell in the first base position, because obviously Josh Bell, I assume he's in the lineup. I know it's not the most ideal spot for him, but first base is loaded. You got Joey Votto against Robert Stock. I don't want to sleep on Joey Votto. He's more of a cash game guy. So we'll go over to Hoop. And then Pete Alonso as well, right? Pete Alonso, he gets a lefty in Wade Miley, who I'm not too scared of, but he can limit the damage at times. So first base is loaded, Hoop. You always got Vlad Guerrero Jr. You got so many at the top. Are you paying up or are you paying down?
Probably paying down. I mean, there's a guy now that I think is going to be super popular on DraftKings. You can play him first base or outfield. Mr. Connor Joe is back in our lives, batting second against Gonzalez, and he's only 2.6K. So he's going to be very popular. It's just a matter of if people play him at first base or outfield, but very tough to ignore him in that Coors Field game. CJ Cron as well, 5K. I think what it does now, honestly, like Cron looked like a guy that was going to be pretty popular. I think the fact that Connor Joe is now batting second and half the price, I think that brings CJ Cron's price down quite a bit, or ownership down quite a bit. So I think he becomes a good play. We got our boy, Mr. Gavin Sheets, 3.1K. Vlad Guerrero, like you said, 6K. Pete Alonso, 5. I really like the Mets today against Miley. They're not getting a lot of traction, but I think they're definitely a strong option tonight. Ton of different ways to go here, but like I said, I think Connor Joe now gets a lot of the ownership, and like I said, it's a matter of if they play him at first or outfield. But he's gonna be very popular tonight.
All right, the chat is telling me it's Zimmerman in line instead of Bell, which I figured. I just hadn't seen him. That's who I thought of because he was on the winner yesterday, I think, with all those Nationals. Tony, we're talking Connor Joe, which means Holden's probably excited to play like a 30% owned first baseman. So let's make fun of Holden and talk about the first base position.
Yeah, man. Hoop brought up a great point. CJ Cron's always been a lefty masher. Sticks off the page to me. I would just much rather play CJ Cron. Obviously, if the team fits and you need to play Connor Joe, go for it. I think he's more of a cash play for sure. I think Cron is a great tournament play at 5K. He's tougher to fit. He's got power, though. He's in a great, great spot tonight. So I love him. You talked about Zimmerman. I mean, why is the dude priced at 2,200? I mean, come on, DK. Yeah, I know Trevor Rogers is decent, but 2,200 for the 4-hole Ryan Zimmerman against a lefty, that's just a blatant misprice. And what it does is it lets you play – where's the lineup at? It lets you play Trey Turner, Soto, Zimmerman, and like Josh Harrison also is 2,400. Jordy Mercer, who also crushes lefties, is 2,200. Come on, DK. I never complain about the pricing, ever. I'm good with this in tournaments. But if you want to stack Washington, you're giving us the whole damn team for 2K with the two best guys, the only ones priced up. So obviously you can afford the two good guys and then throw 3 2K guys in with them. It's too easy. Come on. None of these Washington guys should be 2K. None of them. Jordy Mercer has always pounded lefties. Why is he 2,200? That's just a misprice. So I hate that, but you can take advantage of it. Ryan Zimmerman's 2,200. You can play him with Soto and Turner. With the cores on the slate, maybe you get this team lower owned than you should. We talked about it yesterday. They continue to just pound the baseball, especially Soto and Trey Turner. I don't know. Like, Washington's just mispriced, in my opinion. They're just going to keep raking. But back to first base, Pete Alonso, I think you guys talked about a little bit versus Miley. You got other plays, but Gavin Sheets, I'm sure Mangone's going to like him. 3,100 in the 2-hole for the White Sox. Can definitely go there. But my focus is going to be on C.J. Cron and Ryan Zimmerman at first base.
So, Big T, let me ask you this, since you're focusing on, C.J. Cron, right? What are you doing with Coors today? Because in tournaments, it's a tough decision, I think, to make with Coors Field, right? It's one that sometimes I think you go out and play it and people are confused by it. So how are you handling Coors on this?
It's very rare that I play Coors, almost never. And if I do, I go all in on it where I just, okay, I'm going to play Coors tonight. I'm just going to jam it. I don't think I'll play it tonight just because I like Washington. I think we can come back with I didn't even talk about him right now, but I think you can come back with a team like Toronto who let us down last night, play a guy like Vladdy. Tell you who didn't let us down, though, one of my core plays that DC, my boy DC, always makes fun of. Danny Santana came for you last night, DC. He came for you, my man, and he's back tonight for 2,500. You want to pivot off? You want to pivot off of Chalk, Connor, Joe? Play Mr. Danny Santana down in that 8-hole for 2,500. I love that pivot.
All right, well, let's pivot over to the second base position. And Hoop, we got to like some Reds tonight, right? The Reds have a nice implied total. They get, this awful Mets pitcher, and that Mets bullpen is really bad, and they can't field either, right? That's another thing. Their fielding is a disaster where, hey, sometimes you get on base, luckily. So Jonathan India, I don't want to ignore him today. I think he's great on both sites. Big T talked about Toronto, right? Marcus Semien. He's a great option, too, that you can spend on. So what are you doing at the second base position?
Yeah, probably the weakest, I'd say, position in terms of overall talent for DFS purposes tonight. I do like India. He just grinds out at bats, just finds a way to get there. The Reds are in a phenomenal spot tonight, so I do like India, Semien as well. Really like the Blue Jays. They're kind of a disappointment last night. Hopefully, people kind of overlook them. There is some weather there that we kind of need to keep an eye on, but I do think they're able to play. So Semien, India. You got Gene Segura, 3.3K. And then the guy that probably ends up being the most popular at second base on DK, Garrett Hampson, leading off for the Rockies tonight at 4.3K. So he'll most likely be the most popular. The position is not great. Another one, the Big T talked about, if you want a full punt, Jody Mercer, 2.2K, batting 6. So there's a lot of different ways that you can potentially go. Not the greatest position. I like getting the upside guys. I think Semien and India will be the two that I like the most here in tournaments.
All right, Big T, you talked about Toronto. So are you going to pay up for a Semien or are you going to a Garrett Hampson, who's number 1 in the lineup? But if you are playing Colorado, right, like you just can't play the 1 through 5. Like that's just a really bad move probably because it's one of the chalkier stacks. So you got to find a way to make it different.
Yeah, I think that's just terrible move to play Colorado 1 through 5 in a tournament. Cash games, maybe. I could definitely see that. But I don't know. Garrett Hampson would definitely be one that I would more than likely leave out of my stack just because he's the 1-hole. I don't think he's very good. 4,300 is a good price. I don't know. He definitely tends to be one of the guys I'd leave out. And the weird part about second base, though, is it's got – you already talked about Jordy Mercer, 2,200. But two of my favorite splits, guys, this is why people like some of my takes. I got weird dudes, but Brad Miller for 2,600 against a righty in New York where we got the short porch and right. Love Brad Miller tonight at 2,600 in the 7-hole where no one's going to play him. So I'm going to focus on second base as my weird spot where I play a weird one-off, even in a different team. Say I stack the Rockies. Instead of playing Garrett Hampson, I'll play Brad Miller or Jordy Mercer as a one-off. And immediately my Rockies stack is different. If Jordy or Brad Miller outscore Garrett Hampson, I'm ahead of all those chalky Rocky stacks immediately. Even if I stack different Rockies. And Mangone asked last position, are you going to stack the Rockies, Coors? That's one of the ways I would stack the Rockies. Play random. Jordy Mercer might be higher owned, but only with Washington stacks. Jordy Mercer is not going to be high owned as a one-off, so you got to balance it a little bit with baseball. I like Jordy and Brad Miller at second. I'm looking at the rest of the position. Yeah, if I stack Toronto, maybe even same thing. Say you stack Toronto and instead of Semien, you play one of those guys, Brad Miller or Mercer. That gets you different with your Toronto stack. So I think I'm going to go cheap here.
All right. Well, Big T might go cheap. Hoop, I know you can get behind Brad Miller. He helped you out the other day. So what do you think of Brad Miller at that position? Then what do you think of the third base position transition over there after that?
Yeah, I'm fine with a guy like Brad Miller. The position's weak. He obviously offers some upside. We had the 3 home runs a few weeks ago. No, I don't think he can get 3 home runs tonight, but you don't need that, obviously. Good with that. Should be low owned too. I mean, batting 7th. I mean, anytime these guys are towards the bottom of the lineup, regardless of their price tag, the ownership is typically pretty low. Third base, again, a position that is not super loaded. The guy I think that ends up coming in the most popular, because people will have the money, will just be Rafael Devers. People just pay the 5.4, which is a fair price tag for him. Batting 4th. I think Wander Franco is an interesting play. Josh Donaldson against the lefty, he's 4.9K. Suarez, I like Suarez a lot, 3.4K guy. He's batting 6. Batting 6 should keep his ownership down quite a bit. If he's batting 4th at 3.4K in this matchup, he's by far probably one of the most popular guys on the slate. He's 2 spots down, batting 6. That's going to keep his ownership in check. I think some people will go to the Mariners today. I don't think I'm going to do it. Seager's at 4K. You can play Dylan Moore at 2.7. I don't think I'm going to do that. And then the last guy I have interest in, Brian Hayes at 4K. But like I said, especially in cash games, I'd probably just find a way to play Devers or even Suarez. I think that would be the route that I'd likely go.
All right, Big T, we'll go over to you. Third base, how are you handling this position? Is it one that you're going to maybe pay down and be unique within your stack, or are you putting your guys in your stack here?
Yeah, I mean, third base was ugly yesterday, and it's pretty ugly today. Again, I just don't see a ton that I like. You got my boy Jordy Mercer. Maybe we play him at third instead of second because he's here, and I don't like third base at all. I mean, I'm looking down the position. Candelario, maybe, like I said yesterday. Detroit's always pretty sneaky. I mean, Machado, you can always play Machado, but I'm not overly in love with it. Moncada, I guess Moncada would be my favorite, just looking at it. Always against a righty. Pretty sneaky spot, I think, because he's in the 5-hole instead of the 2-hole where he usually is in this spot, 2-3. I don't know. Maybe he comes in a little lower owned tonight because of the 5-hole, but I love Moncada tonight. Give me him as my top guy.
All right. Moncada is your top guy there. Let's move on over to the shortstop position. And Hoop, I'll go to you. We might have like one of the most loaded shortstop slates of the season. I mean, if Tatis goes right against the Braves bullpen in Tucson, that could obviously be a good spot. Trey Turner has been crushing it, and now he gets a lefty. I know Rogers is solid, but hey, it's still a lefty, and Trey Turner is on fire. Xander Bogaerts in a pretty good spot, right? Trevor Story in a really amazing spot against a bad lefty in Coors. Bo Bichette, I mean, it's absolutely loaded at shortstop. Hoop, how are you handling this position?
Yeah, I mean, loaded position. We've talked about second base kind of weak, third base kind of weak. I'll go out on a limb and say if you don't spend up at shortstop tonight, you're most likely going to lose some money playing DFS. You have to spend up at this position. I see no reason to try to get cute. You have 5 guys here, 5K and above that are in really good spots. You have Tatis, you have Story, Bogaerts, Bichette, Trey Turner, all between 5K and 5.9K. Really good spots here. I think you want to spend money at this position, and I think it'll be very difficult to win money playing DFS if you don't spend up at shortstop today. So all 5 of those guys are in real good spots. I mean, play these guys with your stacks. I think all these teams are stackable as well. I mean, you can definitely stack the Rockies. You can stack the Red Sox. Toronto you can stack. San Diego you can stack. And Washington you can stack. So focus on this top tier and play these guys within your stacks. They're all really phenomenal plays.
All right, Big T, I'll go over to you. And like the question I had for you, again, you're more of a tournament guy, right? Trevor Story, right? Can you build a Colorado stack and then replace Trey Turner or Fernando Tatis or one of these other spend ups to make your Rocky stack unique? The problem is you miss out on one of the best bats. So if they do go off, I feel like he's going to be part of it, right? So that's the question I have for you. And I mean, I think on FanDuel too, probably play 2 shortstops today, Tony. It seems like a sharp idea.
Yeah, I struggle with I love the move, first of all. I do that a ton, what you just said, where you fade one of the good guys, plug another high upside guy. If they get a 0, then you're obviously off to the races with a chalk stack. I just really struggle with it with the Rockies because, first of all, it's against the lefty, which Story's obviously way better against. And I just struggle to see your Rocky stack going off without Story. It's almost like Washington without Soto. Like, I just wouldn't do it. Other teams, I think it's more viable. Like Toronto without Vlad, you could see them still going off. Other teams, I think I like it more than the Rockies in this spot just because Story is just in a great, great spot. I don't think I can do it. Like, I wouldn't be able to look at myself in the mirror if Colorado scored like 16 and I didn't play Story and he hit like 3 bombs or something. I don't know. I don't like it as much when we're talking about it, but I agree. The position's loaded. So if you somehow bank the Story donut and Trey Turner 30 ball or something, I completely agree that you're ahead of the pace. I just don't know if I have the balls to do it.
It's definitely hard to do, right? And that's why I asked it, because we talked about a little bit, like leaving off some of those Blue Jays guys. And like the other day, like you saw the Padres go absolutely nuts. And I think you needed Tatis, but you didn't need Machado, right? Machado was a great play that day. So I think there's times you can get away with it, but it's a little tougher with the Rockies because of how much more thin that team is. That's why I wanted to ask you. And again, it's a loaded position. Hoop, I'll go right back to you real quick. On FanDuel, probably play 2 shortstops today. It seems like that's the right way in cash games, at least at the utility spot.
Yeah, I mean, you got some of the best value on. I mean, the problem is these guys are in really good spots and they're not like priced appropriate. They should be closer to that 5K range. Bichette is 3.6, Story at 3.8 is really tough to avoid that 3.8 price tag for Trevor Story. So I mean, I'd go on a limb, especially in cash games. I mean, you're going to want to play Story, and then Turner, Bogarts, Tatis, Bichette, all phenomenal value plays too. So 2 shortstops, very viable tonight.
All right, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe on the video. Again, helps us out a ton. Use that code OPEN50 to get 50% off your first payment. Also have tons of stuff over here. We got the Showdown content you'll have today. We got the best ball content over here. And, our boy Bobby Goins wrote an article and he told you to draft Henderson. I know, Big T, you have no Acres exposure in your best balls, but hey, Henderson is a guy that Bobby was on and talked about him as being a pretty good leverage play. So there you go. Saw that in one of the articles. So yeah, check out all the stuff we got. We got best ball videos. We got tennis. We have MMA. We have all of the content you need over here at Run Pure Sports. Big T, I'll go over to you. Let's dive into the outfield and let's talk
one more thing about shortstop, just because it just stuck out to me. But I agree with the spend up. The only guy that I would pay that isn't one of the studs would be just in a Brad Miller type team. Didi at 3,700 with that short porch and right at Yankee Stadium. I could see playing Didi with Brad Miller. And just, I really like the short porch with a guy like Didi at that stadium. So I could see going there.
All right. Yeah, no, definitely worth bringing up there. But let's go to the outfield. Let's talk about your Reds, Tony. I mean, let's talk about some value guys like Jesse Winker on FanDuel is 3.2. Like that's absolutely crazy. Aristides Aquino. Actually, I think that's the right way to say it. He's 2.4 over on, DraftKings. And then Tyler Naquin, he's 2.3, right? I mean, there's some cheap price tags on these Reds and they're in a really good spot. So how do you handle these Reds and who are some other outfielders you're going to?
So it's going to be a contrarian take for sure, but I don't like the Reds. I watched them yesterday. They got a ton of lucky shit. I mean, the balls were getting dropped. The bloopers were falling in. Bunt hits were dropping in. I don't know. I don't like this lineup with the Aquino in the middle. He's better against lefties. I just don't like it. I would rather have Votto in there. I'd rather have who isn't in there?
Castellanos is not in there.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he did the one pinch hit at bat.
He looked like injured at the plate. His hand came off the bat. But I don't know. I just don't like it. And these prices are going to make people play him. Similar to the Washington thing where you can get Naquin for cheap and Aquino for cheap. I think a lot of people are going to go there. And I do like India. I do like Naquin, but Suarez has looked terrible at the plate. Barnhart hasn't done much. I don't like Farmer. I just don't love the lineup, and I think they're going to get pretty chalky. So I'd rather go different direction like Washington, or we'll get to the stacks in a minute, but I don't like them as much. Outfielders, Toronto, well, they let us down yesterday, but Springer, Teoscar, Grichuk, Gurriel, 4 in a row right in the middle of this lineup. I always think it's interesting on a site like FanDuel where literally no one would do that. They got a 6.2 implied total, which everyone loves to talk about in baseball, which is what's the Rockies? Basically the same for the Rockies. Literally no one will play 4 outfielders from Toronto. No one, literally no one. So you can play 4, 5, 6, 7. I just think that's an interesting build. You get one of the highest totals on the slate against a bad pitcher, and you are guaranteed to be unique playing those 4 guys. You just got to find a team that lines up nicely with them where you can get all infielders. I don't know which team because I haven't built any teams, but I'm sure there's some team out there where you really like the infield of the team, and you can pair them up with Toronto. So I don't know.
Can I counter with one thing that you have said to me? You don't build a Blue Jays lineup without Vlad Guerrero. I think that's what
I think you can, though, because I just think there's upside in other spots. Like, look at the difference in upside in Toronto besides Colorado. Like, it's not – there's so many more upside guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. Trust me. All those guys, you can see them all hitting a home run and you wouldn't be shocked, right? The other argument for Vlad, I'll say, within that Blue Jay stack, you can put him at third base. And we talked about third base not being the best. So that's on FanDuel, though, specifically. So, yeah, I think that might be something I try and do. I played some Blue Jays yesterday. I might play them again today. And I might do the 3 outfielders with the, with good old Mr. Vlad Guerrero Jr. at the third base spot. I like kind of doing that. Hoop, I'll go over to you. Who are some outfielders you're looking at on this slate?
Yeah, I mean, ton of options in the outfield. I mean, I do like the Reds guys a little bit. Winker was struggling, and we talked about it on the show yesterday. Kind of got it going. Had some big hits last night, and he's still really cheap. Naquin, I do like as well. I mean, he's free basically on both sites. I mean, the one good thing about Aquino is the fact that you don't have to really worry about any pinch hit risk here. The fact that they're starting him against a righty, so. He has power. You got the Boston guy who hit the bomb. I mean, there's so many cheap guys in the outfield. The Boston guy that hit the bomb last night, Duran, still 2.3K. Trent Grisham is 3.3K. A lot of just mispriced guys at this position. I think a majority of lineups are going to be saving money in the outfield. So I think how you get different in the outfield is by spending up. Guys like maybe George Springer, who is 4.6K. JD Martinez at 4.6K, Bryce Harper at 5.4K. Those are big names that typically get a lot of ownership. I just think people are going to be saving money in the outfield. So spending up, I think, could be a little bit contrarian. And then as always, I mean, you want to, play these guys within your stacks and whatnot, but a lot of really, really cheap guys should have some ownership, but I think spending up is probably the way to go in tournaments.
All right, Hoop, before we move on to the stacks, right, what's our likes at? We're at 230, so what do we need? We need 250 to get there and give out plays, or did you already pick a number and I missed it?
Yeah, just get us 20 more, 25 more, make us happy. Like I said, the more likes we get, the more likely it is that Big T sticks with us here on the free show.
Yep, and we'll get those likes up. I'm sure they can get it home in the next, couple minutes or so. We'll talk about the stacks. Before we talk about the stacks, Hoop, let's go quick and talk about the golf show tonight. You're on with Snyder. You're on with Uncle T. It's a free show. We'll have the premium show with Big T. He's going to hop on and talk some NBA hoops. But talk about the free golf show we have tonight and let the people know about the 3M Open. Yeah,
so tonight I got AP typically hosts. He is taking Big T's role in Disneyland this week. So hopefully we can land some AP Mickey Mouse ear pictures. That would be great.
He's way more likely than me, for the record. Like, just to go on the record, I was a 0% chance. He is way more likely to get that picture.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I'd set the line at, but I mean, he's definitely more likely in terms of just him. The odds that he has some. Okay, let's. I'm going to find this out too. I mean, I hope he's honest with us. What would you guys say are the odds that he has some sort of Disney gear on? Whether
I think it's very likely he wears like a shirt, like a
shirt. Yeah, I think
50%.
Yeah. Well, here's the first question: is the wife big into Disney? Do we know that answer, or is it more the kids?
So I know the only quote I have from him on this trip was the wife planned the Disney trip. So you could be onto something. The wife could be big into Disney, which if he's, just going along with the mojo of the family and the wife says, I got you and I this, I think there's a decent chance. I think we're looking at 50-50, to be honest with you.
I could see he might have been trying to throw us off the tracks, though. Maybe it was him actually planning the trip.
Yeah.
Could be.
I could see AP halting the Mickey Mouse ears, but like sucking up like a shirt, right? Like a Mr. and Mrs. kind of shirt. Not too ridiculous.
I could definitely see him in the Mr., Mrs. and the kid shirt with the ear. I could definitely see that. That's got to be above 50%.
Think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, at worst it's 50-50. So he's gonna got to, we'll get him next Tuesday on the PGA show because he has some drinks during that show. I'll make sure to bring it up and kind of poke him a little bit toward later on in the show because he drinks the hard stuff too. He drinks that whiskey. So towards the end of the show, he's feeling himself a little bit. So I'll ask him the honest question and see if we can get an honest response. But in terms of tonight, we got myself, we got Snyder, and we got Uncle T breaking down the 3M Open. We're going to talk basically about every player in the field except the shitty guys way at the bottom. So tune in tonight right on this channel.
I was supposed to sub in for AP, but I couldn't deny the people Snyder. He's been on fire, and I was looking forward to it because I was gonna break out some whiskey and pull an AP, right? I was gonna try
Snyder's feelings were pretty hurt. He was under the assumption that he was going to be the fill-in tonight because he typically is when Uncle T ditches us for the Wednesday crew. Snyder's there waiting, so he kind of assumed that he was going to be in. AP and reached out to Mangone. Mangone reluctantly gave up his spot so Snyder can be with us tonight.
All right, well, let's go to Big T. Let's talk about the stacks. Who do you got here tonight? We know you're all about correlation, and I agree. Correlating is definitely important within your lineup. So who are we stacking up tonight, Big T?
So my favorite stack for sure is Washington. I just think the prices and how hot Trey Turner and Soto are, just everything works perfect with it. I do like Trevor Rogers, but Washington is just so hot and the weather's good. I like that spot a lot. After that, it's hard for me because we don't know about the weather in Toronto. A ton of people in the chat keep saying Toronto weather. Yeah, I mean, we're doing the show an hour and a half before lock. Obviously, if the weather gets worse, we'll be in Discord. We'll be on the premium show, DC, JSU, Holden. Well, they'll talk more about the weather. So if we lose that, first of all, if that game's good, that's my next game behind Washington. I want bats from that game. If we lose that game, though, it gets a little more interesting to me where teams like Detroit and the Mets and even the Rockies, I would give a little bit more credence than I normally would just to go there. But the White Sox will definitely – more teams are going to be involved in my mix if we lose the Toronto game. I want to say the White Sox, like I look at the lineup, I really like 1 through 5. My issue is just the rest of it. When I stack a team, I want to like the whole lineup. And I just hate the bottom of that lineup. I mean, 6, 7, 8, 9. So bad. It really is a struggle for me to stack a team like that. I'd rather mini stack them if I'm doing the White Sox. They'd be in contention for a little 2 or 3 man mini stack. So for me, Washington's clearly my top team, though.
All right, Washington, it is. I do have a question for you, Tony. So Steve Anthony, he's got this idea in my head. He said Deer District over Disneyland. So if I told you, Tony, you had to go to the Deer District with a Giannis jersey on, some deer antlers. Are you doing that over some Mickey Mouse?
No, I'm definitely going to the Deer District, jumping with title, with my deer heads on, my Giannis jersey. Definitely over Disney, waiting in lines with Mickey ears on. I'd be so happy to go. I'd drive to the Deer District to do that before wearing Mickey ears.
I figured. I believe the same thing for you.
Not even close either, really.
Even though it would pain you to see title win.
It wouldn't even pain me. If my option was Mickey ears or celebrating with title, it wouldn't even pain me. That's how much I wouldn't do the Mickey ears.
All right, the image of Tony jumping up and down in a Giannis jersey and deer antlers hoop. It was too good to pass up to ask about, right?
Yeah, it's an easy decision. I mean, we went on the rant yesterday about the adults that go to Disney without kids. I mean, it's a painful thing to see. I'm right there. It would be a 3-way chest bump between me, Uncle T, and Titletown in a Giannis jersey with the antlers on, pants down. I mean, it's
whitey tighties.
In the whitey tighties, yeah.
I will say I haven't, I'm not married like you guys, but I make sure if I ever talk to anyone, I ask about Disney right away because I'm not getting roped into that garbage. I'm with you. No Mickey Mouse ears for me.
We talk about with kids. It sucks even with kids. Like I said yesterday, we're happy for the kids. We like seeing them happy. but it doesn't mean it doesn't suck. There's no parent there that is a normal human that's actually happy.
Yeah. I will tell you, if you're a family out there and you're deciding on whether or not to go to Disney and you can make it work, do the cruise over Disney and thank me later. It is way different experience.
Yeah, you've told me that. So the cruise is a good call. So and the cruises are opening back up. So hit those Disney cruises instead. If they want to sponsor us, Hoop, I think would be happy to read some ads.
Absolutely, we'll sell some cruises and get a.
I'll go on a Disney cruise. The kids would love that.
Yes.
I won't wear the ears. I'll go on the cruise though and promote it.
Hoop, I'll go to you. Give me your stacks. Who are you going to on this slate?
Yeah, I mean, outside of the main ones that we talked about on the show, I'm with you guys on the. I know you like this. I mean, we talk about title appealing to the Bucks. I mean, you and your White Sox are a whole nother story. I'm definitely in on the White Sox so tonight. Really like them in this spot. And then the other one that I think is pretty sneaky, Tigers. I like the Tigers. I mean, they've been hitting the ball pretty well. Dunning, I mean, he's done okay, but I think the Tigers can find some success here and stay hot. Decent team total for them. So the Tigers are another kind of under the, and then the Phillies. I actually really like the Phillies.
Yeah, I like obviously I'd say like Rockies and the chalk ones, right? That I'm kind of on Rockies and I guess the Blue Jays if they are. I just want to I feel like they're a team that I'm trying to over the next month or so, just continue to play, right? And pound away at. And when I can get them lower on last night, it'll hit at some point, right? Because they're very talented. So them, I don't mind the White Sox thing. It is tough trying to figure out who to make that last guy in as your lineup. I agree with what Big T said, but I'd probably make it like Zach Collins, right? Is the catcher, just because catcher's a rough spot. So I think that's how I'd maybe try to make it a little different rather than doing that 1 through 5. That'll get us to the plays of the day. So Hoop, I'll go to you first. Give me your play of the day.
The play of the day, it's actually going to be a guy that we didn't mention, really. I don't think any of us mentioned during the show. The guy just kind of came to me, and it's just a gut feeling that I think this guy hits a bomb. It's going to be Rhys Hoskins. I don't think anyone will be on him. Somewhat expensive. I really like the Phillies here. Like I said, it's just a feeling. I think Hoskins hits a bomb for us tonight.
All right, Hoskins hits a bomb. I probably need a couple more seconds. So while that's going on, Simon set up the graphic. We're peeking through the window here at Big T's workbench play of the day. So Big T set it up for me. Who is the play of the day?
I mean, I love when Hoop gives a guy like that too, because I get limp when Hoop gives just a boring play. But more times than not, he gives some sneaky plays here and there. And I love it when he gives a play like Hoskins, because I already said I like Brad Miller. I like Didi. Hoskins solidifies my little mini stack right there. And I love plays like that. So that's I guarantee I'm going to play the 4X play tonight on some teams.
Let's
I
go.
love that. And last night, I mean, I don't want to toot the own horn, but the workbench last night, 4,800 pitcher crushed. But tonight, it's going to be easy for me. I talked about it earlier in the show. I could say Brad Miller just to go. Actually, you know what? I am going to say Brad Miller just because I want the chemistry. I was going to go a different direction. I'm going to reverse course at the last second just because I want that chemistry going with Hoops guy, Mr. Hoskins. I'm going with Brad Miller down in the 7 hole. He always hits right. He's good. He's 2,600. He's eligible at 2 positions. Checks every box for me. He's going to be low owned. Sign me up. We get the chemistry going. JT's not on here, but we got the tripod. Let's see who Mangone's got.
The Phillies are going to get it done for us.
Don't come say like Connor Joe now, Mangone.
No, I'm not going to say Connor Joe, right? I'm trying to think of something kind of off the board. And I'll admit I've been running around a little today, so I'm not as probably researched as normal. But I don't hate the idea of trying to see like third base or second. I mean, India's going to be too high owned, right? I can't probably say him.
A real man would come in and just take Didi and just solidify it.
Listen, I played Didi the other day, and he got the job done for me. So, and when you said that, I thought it was interesting. So I don't mind that, Tony. I'll piggyback off you, right? JSU makes fun of me for holding arms with you, so why not? Let's
go then.
5, 6, 7. We got the mini stack, little 5, 6, 7, yep. back to back to start out the game. I mean, good things are going to happen.
And hey, the thing I do love about Didi, right? You get the short porch in Yankee Stadium, a little narrative street against the former team. So I can get behind that. Again, Didi's been good to me. Didi always treats me well. So if you want to go with the mini stack of the Phillies, I don't hate that. And even you could full on stack this team, right? There's so many guys. You can go JT Realmuto at catcher. If you want to spend up while people are spending down. I like the Phillies call by you guys, and might have to sneak that in there on one of my teams, but that's going to wrap it up for us, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us. We got coming up next, we got JSU, we got Holden, I think, and then maybe DC. I don't remember everyone who's coming up, but they'll be bringing you the winners. They'll be bringing you the core plays. Use that code OPEN50 to sign up and get 50% off your first payment. But that'll be it for us, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us here on the MLB Swing for the Fences show. For me, Mangone Hoop, and Big T. See you guys later.